Hello and welcome to the Street Crime UK YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Today we look at a woman who smuggled cannabis into jail and who was walked free from court after claiming she was forced to become a drugs mule by a criminal she met on Facebook. Chloe Buckland, 26, was caught sneaking in 50 grams of the drug for an inmate at Gloucester Manchester prison after falsely claiming she was visiting her cousin. Guards at HMP Buckley Hall in Rochdale were suspicious because the former fashion student looked anxious and nervous as she met prisoner Ian Smith at the Category C jail. Mr. Smith was later searched in a side room and found to have a wrap of cannabis in his pocket, the court was told. But Miss Buckland revealed she had been extensively threatened, even that her family house would be burnt down. Miss Buckland, who was a regular on Liverpool's nightclub scene, later showed police a number of abusive texts she had received saying she had been hounded by Mr. Smith from a man known only as Joel after she met him through social media. Miss Buckland alleged Mr. Smith told her to take drugs into jail, but when she refused, he sent her threatening messages warning he would burn down her family home, and she begrudgingly gave in to his demands. At a covert meeting at Kirkdale train station in Liverpool, she was told to pick up the drugs from a mysterious fixer who was waiting in a car. Miss Buckland then made a drop at the jail the following morning. At Min's full Crown Court, Miss Buckland of Bootle showed no emotion as she admitted bringing prohibited articles into prison. Miss Buckland was sentenced to 6 months in jail, suspended for 18 months and ordered to complete 180 hours of unpaid work. Prosecutor Nicoletta Amatino said a guilty plea was entered on the basis she was coerced into bringing the articles in through text messages which were provided to police. This has affected her mental health and she has been diagnosed with chronic anxiety. She feared for her safety and for the safety of her family. Miss Buckland received no financial gain and had no understanding of the operation or the size of the operation. She was sent messages which were threatening. One of them was threatening to burn her house down. She told the police these were from a man called Joel. The defendant had replied quite forcefully to these messages at first. The incident occurred when Miss Buckland, who has no previous convictions, attended the jail falsely claiming Mr. Smith was her cousin. Miss Amatino added the attention of the prison staff was directed towards the defendant because she was presenting herself to be very nervous. The prisoner, Ian Smith, was detained after the visit and was taken to a sterile area for a search in which a pouch was found in his hand. Inside the pouch was the drug, cannabis resin, with the amount of 47.73 grams. The defendant was interviewed sometime later and she made admissions as to what happened. Miss Buckley explained that she had been in contact with somebody on social media called Joel. She met him on one occasion and he would contact her asking her to take drugs into prison. He was controlling her and being threatening towards her. Miss Buckley attended Kirkdale train station at 10 PM the night before and was given a package by a male driving a car. She didn't even see his face. Mr. Buckley was reluctant to take the package into Buckley Hall, but she was concerned about her family and she was afraid to inform the police or prison staff. In mitigation defence, counsel Stella Hayden said this offence was out of character and she has shown clear remorse. Miss Buckley has evidence to support how this became about how she was susceptible to his threats. She had been treated for anxiety and had been receiving counselling as she suffered after having 2 miscarriages. Miss Buckley was suffering with verbal threats which were made to her and her family. She is anxious to put this matter behind her and she wants to move on with her life forward and focus on addressing her health. Sentencing Judge Angela Neal told Miss Buckland, ordinarily offences of this nature call for the deterrent sentence as well as a punishment. Conveying a drug into prison has consequences, not simply as a result of the one who takes the drug, but from the many ways it is used in prison for bartering to gaining. It can also cause arguments, often physical, between prisoners. But you appear before this court today as a young woman who has never committed any previous offences. You are left struggling with your own mental health, most notably anxiety, and you were vulnerable. You became a target for an individual who made threats towards you after you initially refused his request to convey cannabis into prison. Often people tell the court they were coerced into this type of matter, but it is woefully unusual for somebody to have such graphic evidence to support their case. Evidence of threats through lots of text messages which became more and more violent. Threats against you and your own family, even threats to burn your house down, threats which you thought could be carried out. You did have the opportunity to go to police and even at the last moment to speak to prison services to tell them of your unfortunate mission. Prison officers could see you were highly anxious when you attended prison. You have expressed significant remorse. They were able to intervene at an appropriate time to prevent the drugs from entering into the prison system. You have told the court of the pressure you were under, and I accept that you have expressed your significant remorse. So what are your thoughts about Chloe Buckland and how she was lured and threatened by Ian Smith, who was serving time behind? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, stay safe.